Tonight, before you fall asleep, think about something strange. For the next 8 hours, you'll be completely vulnerable. Your eyes will be closed, your muscles will relax, and for most of the night, you'll have almost no awareness of what's happening around you. Now imagine you're not sleeping safely inside your home. Imagine you're lying inside a small tent in the middle of a dark forest. Somewhere out there, a wolf is awake. A bear is moving through the trees. A mountain lion is silently watching the night. All of them are stronger than you. All of them are faster than you. And every one of them could kill a sleeping human with ease. Yet something strange happens. Night after night, year after year, most predators simply walk away. They don't attack. They don't hunt you. They don't even come close. But why? Why would nature's deadliest hunters ignore what appears to be the easiest prey imaginable? The answer isn't simple. In fact, it begins hundreds of thousands of years ago. Long before cities, long before farming, long before humans ruled the world. This is the hidden reason predators learned to fear us. At first glance, this doesn't make any sense. Humans should be easy targets. We don't have claws, we don't have sharp teeth, we're not particularly fast, and unlike most predators, we can't even see properly in the dark. If you dropped a human into the wild and judged them purely by their physical abilities, you'd probably assume they wouldn't last very long. But predators don't judge animals by how they look. They judge them by experience. And for a very long time, humanity has been one of the worst experiences a predator could have. Think about it. For hundreds of thousands of years, animals watched something unusual happen. A strange hairless creature appeared almost everywhere it went. At first, it wasn't very impressive, but then it learned how to work together. It learned how to make weapons. And most importantly, it learned how to control fire. Suddenly, this weak-looking animal became something entirely different, something dangerous, something unpredictable, something that could kill creatures much larger and stronger than itself. And over time, predators began learning a lesson that would be passed down for generation after generation. Stay away from humans, because getting too close could be the last mistake you'll ever make. But just how deep does that fear go? To answer that, we need to look at what happens when predators hear something as simple as a human voice. At first glance, this doesn't make any sense. Humans should be easy targets. We don't have claws, we don't have sharp teeth, we're not particularly fast, and unlike most predators, we can't even see properly in the dark. If you dropped a human into the wild and judged them purely by their physical abilities, you'd probably assume they wouldn't last very long. But predators don't judge animals by how they look. They judge them by experience. And for a very long time, humanity has been one of the worst experiences a predator could have. Think about it. For hundreds of thousands of years, animals watched something unusual happen. A strange hairless creature appeared almost everywhere it went. At first, it wasn't very impressive, but then it learned how to work together. It learned how to make weapons. And most importantly, it learned how to control fire. Suddenly, this weak-looking animal became something entirely different, something dangerous, something unpredictable, something that could kill creatures much larger and stronger than itself. And over time, predators began learning a lesson that would be passed down for generation after generation. Stay away from humans, because getting too close could be the last mistake you'll ever make. But just how deep does that fear go? To answer that, we need to look at what happens when predators hear something as simple as a human voice. In 2019, a group of researchers decided to test something strange. They wanted to know how one of North America's most effective predators would react to human presence. So they set up an experiment. Not with weapons. Not with traps. Just with sound. The animal they chose was the mountain lion. A predator powerful enough to bring down full-grown deer. An animal capable of silently stalking prey through dense forests for miles. An animal built for hunting. The researchers placed audio recordings near mountain lion feeding sites. Sometimes they played harmless natural sounds. And sometimes they played recordings of ordinary human conversations. People talking. Nothing threatening. No shouting, no gunshots, just normal human voices. And what happened next surprised everyone. The mountain lions didn't investigate. They didn't become curious. They didn't move closer. They ran. Again and again, the predators abandoned their meals and left the area. Think about how strange that is. Imagine being so uncomfortable around something that you'd rather stay hungry than remain nearby. That's exactly what happened. These weren't weak animals. These weren't inexperienced animals. These were apex predators. And yet a simple human voice was enough to make them walk away. Why? Because from a predator's perspective, humans are not normal animals. We're an evolutionary warning sign, a signal that danger might be close. And the reason goes back much further than modern civilization. It goes back to a time when humans weren't sitting in cities. They were living in the same wilderness as the predators themselves. A world where every encounter mattered. A world where fear could determine who survived and who didn't. For most of human history, predators weren't the hunters, at least not always. Sometimes, they were the ones being hunted. Imagine you're a wolf living 30,000 years ago. You smell smoke in the distance. You hear strange sounds, voices, movement. Then you see them. A group of humans carrying fire through the darkness. Not one human, not two. A whole group, working together, communicating, planning, watching. You don't know exactly what they are, but you know something important. Animals that get too close to them often don't come back, and that lesson repeated itself for thousands of generations. Again and again and again. The predators that ignored humans were more likely to die. The predators that avoided humans survived. Over time, caution became an advantage. And advantages have a way of spreading through nature. This process is called natural selection. The careful animals survived long enough to have offspring. Their offspring inherited the same cautious behavior. And after thousands of years, that caution became instinct, a deep biological warning system, not a conscious thought, not a decision, an automatic feeling. The moment a predator notices signs of human activity, something ancient inside its nervous system whispers, "Stay away." But fear isn't the only reason predators avoid sleeping humans. There's another problem. And it's something you've probably never thought about before. You smell incredibly strange. Right now, at this very moment, your body is releasing thousands of chemical signals into the air. Most of them are completely invisible to you, but to a predator, they're impossible to ignore. A wolf's nose is estimated to be tens of thousands of times more sensitive than a human's. A bear can detect scents from astonishing distances. Some predators can identify what kind of animal passed through an area hours earlier just by following a scent trail. To them, the world is built from smells, and when they smell a human, something doesn't add up. You don't smell like deer. You don't smell like rabbits. You don't smell like anything they've evolved to hunt. Instead, you smell like soap, plastic, smoke, shampoo, synthetic fabrics, processed food, metal, and hundreds of unfamiliar chemicals. To a predator, it's like discovering an object that doesn't belong in the environment. A puzzle. An anomaly. And in nature, animals are often cautious around anomalies because the unknown can be dangerous, but humans have one advantage that may be even more powerful than our smell. An advantage so effective that it changed our relationship with the entire animal kingdom. Fire. And that story begins nearly 1,000,000 years ago. Long before cities existed, long before the first farms, long before humans built kingdoms, roads, or written languages, there was fire. And for ancient humans, fire wasn't just useful, it was survival. Imagine the world at night 500,000 years ago. No streetlights, no flashlights, no houses, just darkness. A darkness so complete that you could barely see your own hand in front of your face. Somewhere beyond that darkness, predators were moving. Lions, hyenas, leopards. Creatures perfectly designed for the night. Creatures with sharper senses than anything humans possessed. By every logical measure, humans should have been terrified. And they probably were, until they discovered something extraordinary. Fire. A small flame changed everything. Suddenly the darkness could be pushed back. Suddenly humans could see what was hiding nearby. Suddenly predators faced something they had never evolved to understand. a creature that controlled the sun. Think about how strange fire must have appeared to animals. It moved, it glowed, it crackled, it produced heat, it destroyed everything it touched. And somehow, humans carried it wherever they went. To a predator, that wasn't normal. That was terrifying. Even today, most wild animals instinctively avoid flames. Many don't need to learn that fear. It's already there, deep inside their evolutionary programming. Because for millions of years, animals that respected fire survived wildfires. Animals that ignored it often didn't. Humans accidentally turned that ancient fear into a weapon. Every campfire became a warning signal. Every flame announced the same message. Something dangerous is here. Stay away. Night after night, year after year, generation after generation, predators learned to associate humans with fire. And eventually, the two became inseparable. Human scent, human voices, human fire. Together, they formed one of the most powerful warning signs in nature. But surprisingly, the biggest reason predators avoid sleeping humans has nothing to do with fear. It has something to do with math, not classroom math, survival math. Because unlike the movies, predators don't attack everything they see. In fact, most predators spend their lives avoiding unnecessary fights. And once you understand why, you'll never look at the animal kingdom the same way again. Here's something movies almost never tell you. Predators aren't fearless. They're careful. Extremely careful. Because in the wild, even a small mistake can be fatal. Imagine you're a wolf. You're hungry. You haven't eaten in days. Then you spot something that could be food. The question isn't, can I kill it? The question is it worth the risk? Because if that hunt goes wrong, if you break a leg, if you damage an eye, if you tear a muscle, you don't go to a hospital. You don't get medicine. You don't get a second chance. You slowly starve. That's the reality every predator lives with. Every hunt is a gamble, and the smartest predators are the ones that avoid unnecessary risks. This is where humans become a very strange target, because humans are unpredictable. A deer behaves like a deer, a rabbit behaves like a rabbit, a zebra behaves like a zebra. Predators understand those animals. They've spent generations hunting them. They know how they'll react. They know how they'll run. They know where they'll turn. They know their weaknesses. Humans are different. A sleeping human might look harmless, but predators don't know what happens next. Maybe the human wakes up. Maybe there are other humans nearby. Maybe there are weapons. Maybe there's fire. Maybe there's a loud noise. Maybe there's a dog. Maybe there's an entire group hidden in the darkness. Too many unknowns. And predators hate unknowns. From their perspective, attacking a human is like opening a mystery box. There might be food inside, or there might be disaster. And when easier prey exists, most predators don't take that chance. But there's another reason humans are difficult targets, a reason hidden inside your own body. Even while you're asleep, part of your brain is still awake. And what scientists discovered about human sleep is genuinely astonishing. Because the truth is, you are never as unconscious as you think you are. But here's the strange part. Even when you're asleep, your brain never completely shuts down. It feels like it does. You close your eyes, hours pass, and when you wake up, it seems as if the world simply disappeared. But that's not what's happening. Deep inside your brain, an ancient surveillance system is still running, still listening, still watching, still searching for danger. Scientists have discovered that human sleep happens in cycles. You drift into deeper stages, then return to lighter stages. Again, and again, all night long. And during those lighter stages, your brain remains surprisingly aware of the environment around you. A familiar sound might be ignored, but an unfamiliar sound, a sudden movement, a loud snap in the darkness, your brain notices. In fact, researchers believe this ability helped our ancestors survive for hundreds of thousands of years. Imagine sleeping on the African savanna. No walls, no locked doors, no security systems, just darkness and predators. The humans who slept too deeply, the humans who couldn't react quickly to danger, were less likely to survive. But the humans whose brains remained slightly alert, they lived, they reproduced, and they passed that advantage to future generations, including you. That's why even today, a strange noise in the middle of the night can wake you almost instantly. Your body may be asleep, but part of your mind is still standing guard. And that isn't the only protection humans have, because for most of history, humans rarely slept alone. And that changed everything. Imagine you're a predator watching a campsite from the darkness. At first, it looks promising. Several humans are asleep. No movement, no noise, easy targets. But then you realize something. If one human wakes up, the others might wake up too. One shout becomes many. One problem becomes a group. And predators understand groups better than almost any creature on Earth. Because groups are dangerous. A single deer is vulnerable. A herd is not. A single fish is easy to catch. A school of fish is much harder. Predators naturally look for isolated targets. The weak, the separated, the distracted. Humans do the opposite. We gather together. We cooperate. We protect each other. And we've been doing it for so long that cooperation became one of our greatest survival weapons. A sleeping human isn't just one human. It's often part of a group. And to a predator, that changes the entire calculation. But there's one final piece of this puzzle. And it's the most surprising part of all. Because humans haven't just changed the behavior of predators, we've changed entire ecosystems, without even realizing it. In recent years, scientists discovered something remarkable. Predators don't simply avoid humans, they change their entire behavior around us. Mountain lions move differently. Wolves travel differently. Bears behave differently. Even animals that never directly interact with humans often respond to our presence. And when predators avoid an area, everything else changes too. Deer populations increase. Smaller animals spread. Vegetation changes. Entire ecosystems shift. All because of one thing. Fear. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans have been shaping the natural world. Not just through hunting, not just through technology, but through reputation. Think about that. A reputation so powerful that it survived generation after generation. A reputation carried through instinct, through memory, through evolution itself. Which brings us back to the question we started with. Why don't predators attack sleeping humans? It's not because you're strong. It's not because you're fast. And it's certainly not because you're awake. It's because predators aren't looking at you. They're looking at your species, the species that learned to control fire, the species that crossed deserts, mountains, and oceans, the species that hunted some of the largest animals that ever lived, the species that transformed entire continents, the species that became nature's ultimate survival story. So tonight, when you lie down in bed or zip up a tent beneath the stars and hear something moving somewhere beyond the darkness, remember this. You may feel vulnerable. You may feel small. You may feel helpless. But the creature outside isn't just seeing a sleeping human. It's seeing hundreds of thousands of years of human history. And in the wild, that's a very intimidating thing to see. Because long before humans became afraid of predators, predators learned to be afraid of humans, even when they're asleep.